Hello, great people. I saw something in the news that caught my attention, and I think it's worthy to share my take about it. And I read that the judge that granted the order that end bad governance protesters should be limited to Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja is from Yesom Wike, the FCT minister's hometown. Now, the interesting part of it is Rivers State is very large, so being from his hometown should not really raise much eyebrow to you. But the interesting thing is, the man hail from Yesom Wike's local government in Rivers State, so it is more like Yesom Wike's kinsman that gave the order. So you can see in Nigeria how judiciary, which is supposed to be the last hope of the common man in a democracy, and the common man in this case is the masses that are suffering, that are not feeling government's presence, and they want to protest. So the judiciary that is supposed to be their last hope is now the one being used, being dragged into the political and governance arena to now restrict them. So you now ask yourself that in a democracy, what is then the function of the judiciary if the weak, the poor, the vulnerable, the have-nots, the talakawas, the hoi polloi cannot be protected? If their rights cannot be protected in a democratic system, then you ask yourself, what is the relevance of the judiciary? Now, then you also want to question the purpose of the judiciary if there's no independence. Imagine a judiciary without independence. If politics is now the operating switch of the judiciary, then you can know that there's really tough days ahead and there are tough times ahead. So Nigerians really need to kind of like fasten their seatbelt and brazen up. And the thing is, politicians, I think they are just always too desperate, because if they even want to do some things, they won't even do it in a mature way to make sure that, oh, they've covered all grounds, and instead of them to do the right thing, they always want to do shortcut and what we used to call wuru wuru to the answer, rather than for you to address the demands of these people, to face the reality of the economy, that what people are buying for 500 naira is now being sold for 2,000 naira. And I can give you a plethora of examples, but I don't need to, because I know you are experiencing it too. If you are not experiencing it, maybe you are outside the country. I know that people that are close to you, your family members, would have been crying to you, and they are experiencing it too. So it is being affected by everybody is being affected by the economic situation. So rather than for government to think of how to do what the people want, they are now using the judiciary. And the high point of it is that if we even want to use the judiciary, the chief judge that will assign the case, if not that the man himself, maybe, I don't know, maybe is high on cold beer, that why must you assign the case to a man from Rivers State? In the high court there in Abuja, there are a number of judges. I'm sure that there will be up to like 10 judges, if not more, that will be handling different cases. So when the case get to the chief judge of the high court, and is to assign the case, if not that they are just too desperate, they can't even do things in a matured way. Why would you assign the case to a man from Rivers State? Is it that you don't know that the man is from Rivers State, or you don't know that, oh, this case, the man, the judge, you don't have his profile? The judge that you've been working with for months is just like you have a colleague. At least, even if you don't know the hometown of your colleague at work, you still know that your colleague is from this state, whether Ogun, Osun, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Sokoto, Yobe, So you still know that this your colleague is from this part of the country. So the judge, the chief judge that assigned the case, did he not know that the judge that he assigned it to is from the Niger Delta region, particularly Rivers State? Is the judge also not aware that the minister of FCT, who happens to be a party to the suit and the major beneficiary of the prayer that will be brought before the court, is also from Rivers State. So in that instance, is it that all other judges, is it that they are on leave? Is it that all other judges are so busy that they can't hear a move for, is it an injunction or a motion that you can't find any other judge? You now have to assign it to a judge that emanated from Rivers State, when the Minister of FCT, who is one of the utmost beneficiary of the judgment, is also from Rivers State. So you can see that Nigerian politicians and ruling elite, they don't even know how to operate maturely. They don't even know how to cover their tracks in such a way that things are being done in a very mature manner and you can't be able to trace any foul play to them. So now that you've assigned the something to a judge from Rivers State, now see the way government and Nyesom Wike has embarrassed themselves. But I'm not really too concerned about the way the politicians embarrass themselves, because it is one of the rule of the game. If you want to go into politics, if you want to be a ruler, you must know that some embarrassment comes with the game. I'm talking of genuine embarrassment, or not an embarrassment that you just create for yourself. But in this case, it's just as if you just want to embarrass yourself, because at least the court records are there and people can easily make research about this judge. So you just decide to go and embarrass yourself? Or is there a political undertone that makes the chief judge, was there one powers that be somewhere that influence it that this case should be assigned to this judge, knowing fully well that they will actually get what they want from that particular judge? Is that the case? Is that what we have in this particular instance? But let us look at the parties to this thing. Wike has faced a lot of embarrassment. Embarrassment is his second name, and he is a man that likes controversy. From when he emerged as Minister of State for Education to Governor of Rivers State, now Minister of FCT. If you look at the personality of Wike, there's always one controversy or the other, whether in his party or in his government or in his lifestyle or in his role as a godfather in Rivers State. So Wike is a man that is used to controversy. But the painful part of it is the judge. You see, I usually say that, and if you're opportune to watch this, please take note of this thing. Never in your lifetime mortgage your professionalism for politicians. Never in your life. If for you to become a professional in that profession, it will cost you years of hard work. It will cost you years of education, years and years of training and retraining to get to that position. Please don't compromise it for a politician that only needs primary school certificate. He doesn't even need the certificate. He just have to show that he attended primary school based on the court judgment that was given during the Buhari certificate saga time. He just needs to show that he was able to attend school. So you now mortgage your professionalism for politician that needs just a school cert, and you are a professor, you are a doctor, you are a lawyer, you are a judge. You now mortgage it for the interest of a politician that doesn't even care about you. I think that is pardon my language, that is just outright stupidity, because the judge now has given the order, rightly or wrongly. But if the judge himself, seeing Wike as a party to this, is he not supposed to return the case file to the chief judge that, for posterity's sake, for sake of transparency, I think I'm not the best person to handle this case, so I'm returning this case to you for reassignment to another judge? Is that not what the judge should have done if the chief judge is not aware? Which I don't believe that is the case. Should the judge himself not recuse himself from that case? Now that the judge has failed to recuse himself for reason best known to him, should he have done it to favor politician? Now the thing is, the judge now has discredited himself and all eyes will be on him. He might have sincerely given a fair ruling. He might have done his job creditably well. But the truth is, having taken that step, the eyes of Nigerians are now on him. They will now tag him an APC judge. They will tag him an anti-people's judge. They will tag him an anti-protesters judge. So when people now have cases that are a bit political in his court, people will now be referring to him as a political judge or seeking withdrawal of their case from his court. So where does that leave him? Now the judge now is facing backlash because the protest is largely organic than political. So he's facing backlash now that he gave a ruling based on political influence. He could have avoided that, because it takes years of learning, years of rigorous academic work for you to become a judge. You have to go to university, get a degree in law, go to law school, several years of practice, and you must be winning, different kind of cases before you are now being recommended as a judge, before you are screened by NJC, before you are approved, before you are eventually sworn in. It takes years of hard work. The judge can go back to another profession, but it's not everybody that can become a judge, because you have to become a lawyer. You have to be trained for it. So it involves a particular skilled labor that takes years of hard work to get to. Please and please, I beg you in the name of God, if you are watching this video, never ever in your life mortgage your professionalism on the altar of politics, because what that judge has done now, and his name is everywhere, people are not even talking about Wike again. Is he mortgaging his professionalism on the altar of politics? And it's just at the High Court. So tomorrow, if they appoint him to Appeal Court, if they appoint him to Supreme Court, people would have labeled him pro-APC judge. Where does that leave him? So what does it cost him to have recused himself? And politicians should be very careful, because they tend to be ridiculing the judiciary. And that's why I have asserted that what we have in Nigeria right now could be just described as judicracy, or a judicratic system of government, because rather than power to belong to the people, the power is emanating from the judiciary. It is the judiciary that will determine who actually wins the election, instead of the people to determine who won the election. Now it is the judiciary that is determining who won the election. Almost all cases are ending up at the court. That is one. Two, the judiciary has now moved from determining the winner of an election into determining how people should be governed. And that's why I have asserted that the judgment of the Supreme Court as regards the local government funds allocation, as good as it is, as beautiful as it is, the judiciary acted ultra vires. The judiciary, in other words, acted beyond its powers, because it is not the function of the judiciary to make a law. And that's why I argued as a political scientist that the judiciary is to interpret the law. What does that mean? What is in the Constitution? It is written black and white. You are to interpret what is in that Constitution, or to make clarity to it, not to rule contrarily to what is in the Constitution. And that is why I read this morning that Seyi Makinde and some leaders in the PDP are saying that even the judgment of the Supreme Court is not valid, because if the Constitution, which is the ground norm, says that the state should be receiving the allocation, but the Supreme Court now wakes up and say no, that means that the Supreme Court has ruled against the Constitution, and the Supreme Court is supposed to follow the law. So what should have been done is to take it to the National Assembly for a constitutional amendment. So if there's a constitutional amendment stating expressly that the state should not receive the fund of the local government, then people can now take the state government and the federal government to court. Then the judiciary will now rule that no, according to the law, you are not permitted to receive fund on behalf of the local government. But if the law expressly states it, you cannot leave your own duty, which is interpreting the law, to now cross over to making the law. The making of law in a democracy belongs to the legislature. So that is you usurping the power of the legislature. And to me, that is ultra vires on the part of the judiciary. So now, the point is that you are determining who wins election. You are now the one apparently making the law. In other words, determining how people should be governed. The truth is, democracy does not operate that way. Democracy believes that knowledge doesn't belong to one man or to one sector in the society. That's why there's principle of checks and balances and separation of powers. Democracy believes that wisdom does not belong to the executive alone, the presidency alone. That is why the National Assembly is there to scrutinize the budget. That is why the National Assembly is there to act as to do oversight functions on different government ministries and parastatals. Democracy believes that knowledge doesn't belong to one man. That is why the judiciary, the legislature itself needs the approval of the executive for their spending, and allowances and all these constituency projects that they are doing, which I believe is a function of the executive anyway. Democracy believes that knowledge doesn't belong to one man. That is why the executive have to appoint judges and take it to the Senate for approval. So democracy believes that knowledge doesn't belong to one man. So if democracy believes so, and you now make the judge the one that are determining who we govern, by virtue of election cases, and the judges now are now the one that are determining how to be governed, it is best described as judicracy or a judicratic system of government. So I will urge politicians to be very, very careful, because most government institutions have lost respect. If you look at it now, police today, they don't have the respect as the police of the olden days. The army too now is gradually dragging themselves into that by all these human rights abuses and all these things that they do sometimes, where you see a rank and file in the army, they'll be using them to go and recover debt, to go and be intervening in different silly cases, and the brutality of the rank and file in the Nigerian army, whereby if you encounter them in traffic or any little thing happens between you and them, they will brutalize you, ask you to sleep in gutter water and all these things. They begin to make the army to lose respect. The DSS is also losing respect gradually, based on the case of the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, the likes of Sowore, that the DSS has not been able to handle professionally as it should be. Now they are dragging the judiciary to lose respect. So if the judiciary eventually loses respect, what does that leave our democracy? So politicians should be very careful, and the judiciary itself should be able to resist the temptation when they want to use you. Don't use yourself. At least cherish your certificate, cherish your professionalism. Don't let a politician that only requires school cert to be a governor, to be a president, will now be dictating to you. Look at Akwa Ibom, the professor that was jailed for electoral malpractice. Do you know what it takes to become a professor? The years of hard work. Now the man is jailed for electoral malpractice. The politician that he perpetrated the electoral malpractice for, that one is not jailed though. That one is working free. But the professor jailed. So he had mortgages, professorship that will take years before he earns BSc, Masters, PhD, write different books, publications, community service, years of hard work. He mortgaged it just to satisfy a politician. Now the professor is in jail. The politician that sent him the work or that is doing the work for is working free. So please, great people, never mortgage your professionalism on the altar of politics. I remember my humble self, Dr. Omosholadeji, your political scientist, public affairs analyst. If you find this video interesting, if you have learned anything in this video, please share the knowledge, let other people also benefit from it. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and Facebook page, Polithink with Omosholadeji. Till I see you again in another analysis. This is where it's all. This is where I drop it all. Stay tuned, stay safe. God bless you. I love you all sincerely.